A very good evening to all my dear students. Good evening, Hardik, Lahori Marju, Anuradha, Sukhveer Kaur, Nanda Goel, Manvi, Neeru, Pallavi, Tambeshwari, all of you children, a very good evening. Preeti, Ritik Gupta, Prakriti, Dilip, Abhishek, Aisha, Sanya, welcome you all students on behalf of ICAI for this another last lecture of accounts of companies. Yes, Hardik, I'm quite well now. I'm quite better now. Thank you so much. Thank you, Preeti Kumari. Thank you, children. I'm absolutely fine now. Thank you so much. So now let's begin with our last session of accounts of companies. We have already had two sessions for accounts of companies. We have done section 128 to 132, 31. And then we did NFRA in the previous session. That was section 132. And board report section 133, 134 has also been completed. So now we are going to start with the most important and the most lengthiest section, that is CSR, for which you all have been eagerly waiting. Corporate social responsibility, which we'll be doing today. Along with that, we'll be completing section 136, 137, and 138 also of accounts of companies. And after that, as you always enjoy doing the question and answers, I have few important questions for all of you related to CSR as well as section 137. So after completion of syllabus around 8 o'clock, we'll try to do all those questions so that you try to learn what we have done in the class itself. So with this note, let's start the session. A very good evening to all those who have joined now also. Good evening, children. Ragini, Mahi, Astha, all of you, Sanya, Abhishek Mishra, Pranav, welcome children, welcome for the class. So let's start the class, and as always, we begin the class with a small revision of what we have done in the previous class, and this revision is always going to be a test so that ma'am knows how many of you have studied, how many of you have revised. So NFRA, we did previous questions also from NFRA, National Reporting Authority, which is actually trying to do the audit of the auditors. Whatever work the auditors have done, we try to review their work papers, we try to see how the things are being managed. We also refer the cases to quality review board if things are not in place. So it was typically theory, and I told you, you just try reading it 2 times. You will understand because you have done it once with me. A fair reading at home was required, and now 3rd time when you will again revise it, you will try to recall whatever you have learned. But section 134 is very, very important. So NFRA also is important, but you can get a straight question. But here you can get a twisted and turned questions also in board's report as well as for CSR also. Yes, Hardik, all those rules we'll be doing. So if I ask you about board's report and financial statement, the first topic that we did under section 134 was who is going to sign the board's report and who is going to sign the financial statements including the consolidated financial statements. Who shall sign the financial statements? My students have to answer me this question. All of you in the chat box, let me see how quick you answer, those who have revised it nicely. Nanda Goel is the first one to give the correct answer. Wonderful answer, Nanda. Only director, huh, Neeru? Are you talking about the board's report, or I'm good evening, Nancy Hingu, Ankit Mishra, Bala Murugan, Miss Divya, all of you. Good answer, Divya. So if you're talking about the financial statements, excellent, Sukhveer, Tambeshwari, Ajay Surya, Astha, Neeru, Hardik, all of you giving the correct answers. Wonderful. Pallavi Jha, Abhishek Mishra, Kasak Yadav, great. So here is the answer revealed in front of you. Whenever we are talking about the financial statements, on behalf of board, it shall be signed by the chairperson or 2 directors. One of them shall be the managing director. It is very important to get it signed by CEO, CFO, and company secretary if appointed. So if you have CS also in the company, then CS is also going to sign, because financial statements are to be laid before the annual general meeting. It's very important that all the important people of the company should have signed the financial statements. It should have gone in front of each and every important people like CEO, CFO, company secretary, chairperson. There is a choice between these 2 people, either the chairperson or the 2 directors, and one of them shall be the managing director. All right, and these signed copies will be laid in front of the shareholders in the and also along with the auditor's report shall be made at the annual general meeting. However, in case of one-person company only, you have one director. So I also told you that when we talk about board's report, then there is no need of CEO, CFO, then only the chairperson or the two directors, one of them shall be the managing director, will sign. Then also it will suffice. Then also it is sufficient. For board of this board's report under section 134, you don't need CEO and CFO to sign it. But for financial statement, CEO, CFO, chairperson, and as well as or two directors shall sign. Is that clear? Everyone now remembered? Aisha, Manvi, Mahi, good. Lahari, Maraju, Ritik Gupta. Everyone has given the correct answers. All right. So after that, I told you the content of board's report. There were so many things in the board's report that you could just give it a reading. We have discussed all those points also. But what was the most important point of board's report? That is Director Responsibility Statement, DRS. So 6 important points were done with me by my students. I have done these DRS points. So 6 important points. You can simply write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 abbreviations points that I have told you. What were the 6 important points of director responsibility statements? Quickly write down. We have revised this question also. Could you please repeat chairperson point? Anil Army is asking. Anil, that is the basic point of chairperson. That chairperson who is authorized by the board, either he will sign or two directors will sign. Say, for example, your company is not having a chairperson, then two directors will sign it. One of them shall be the managing director. So this is the clarity of first point. All right. And this is, we are talking about the financial statements. Excellent. Yes, AP, accounting standards, accounting policies, prevention of fraud, going concern. Mahi, the first one to give the correct answer. Hardik Marwa. Very good. True and fair view, safeguarding the assets, prevention of fraud. So that means all of you have revised it very nicely. Legal laws and compliance. If you're complying, if you have any policies for legal rules, that is also to be taken care. Good. Pallavi Jha, you remembered only one going concern, or maybe you are slow in writing. So I'm looking at all your points. Good. Nanda Goel, correct. Tambeshwari, correct. Kasak Yadav, good. Very nice, very nice. So all of you have given the correct answers. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So this is how you have to learn your task. Always learn it, revise it, and keep writing it down, children. I keep repeating every time I meet you. I keep telling you, writing is very, very important. हमें समझ आ जाता है when ma'am is teaching. We understand. We revise it. We understand. But the only problematic thing is when we are not able to write in the exam because we have not done the writing practice. So that is something which I'm trusting that all of you are going through the descriptive questions. You have maintained a separate register and pen for your law books because children, this time is not going to come back in life. So appreciate the time that you have. Make such a timetable that you are able to allocate proper hours to each and every subject. It's not that if I'm just studying law, I'm just into law only, I forgot about income tax. It should not be that I'm just loving income tax and accounts, I'm not bothered about corporate laws. All and every subject has to be given equal importance. But in law, the writing practice, like in accounts, unless and until you'll not solve the questions, you'll not understand. Similarly, in law, if you have studied it, open up your books. Everything is given over there, children. You don't even have to look for here and there. Other questions I'm doing with you, extra material I'm doing with you. But apart from that, book questions are there in front of you. You have the answers also. You have suggested answers on the website. Everything is there for you on the website. So you just have to try doing those questions. Question bada descriptive question, book band kari, answer likha. Try to compare it what the study is saying. Is it answering the same way? Are you answering in the same way as institute expects you to answer? That is how you have to do the practice. And it is must. Trust me, it is must. So don't later on think that, oh my God, why did I lose marks? Children generally lose marks when they don't do writing practice. Okay, so I've given you a very important hint. So you know have to write it. Very good. Hardik Marwa is saying, I'm trying to learn to write the answers 85% same. then also it's okay, beta. If you're writing the way the institute is, you know how you remember how you have to write it, because when you read number of suggested answers, like the questions are due with you, they are the few of them are from the suggested answers, few of them are from the MTPs and RTPs. So they are, this is the answers that have been given by the institute itself. So you can refer it. Okay, if you're referring it, the language might be different, but don't try to change the law language. Legal language, so beta, you have to write all of it. Mahi is asking, ma'am, penalty punishments, how to remember. So a simple thumb rule in all my lectures that I've taken with you, there are few of the chapters, Mahi, that I've told you, like deposits, registration of charges, dividend, audit. These are the chapters where there are less penalties. There are less punishments and penalties to remember. So that is must. You have to learn. But chapter like accounts of companies and MGT, where there are a number of penalties, I can understand. I can understand. It becomes very, very difficult to retain this much information, because information like DRS is more important than remembering whether it was 50,000 or it was 5 lakhs. So in certain cases where I've told you the MCQ comes which is related to a penalty that you have studied for a number of times, like there is a fixed penalty for the company, it is a larger amount, and for the officer in default, the maximum limit may be a little lesser. So that is something that you can play a game in your mind and just take it according to that. But if you ask me, the only solution for penalties is, as in when you have completed the chapter, on the first page of the chapter in your study material, just write the penalties in your handwritten by yourself. In your own handwriting, take a sheet. If I've done chapter of acceptance of deposits, whatever penalties came, I have written down on a sheet and stick it on the near the first front page of the study material of that chapter. Earlier, I used to tell the children that stick it on the first page of the book, but then it is not practical, because every chapter has its own penalties and punishments. So try writing it down for each chapter separately and stick it somewhere near the chapter. It is all about your memory game. If you retain the information, it's okay. But just for a 2 marks penalty, don't keep wasting time, children. You have lots and lots of things to learn. So don't worry about that. Just try doing it, but that's okay. All right. All right. Now, others have also given the correct answer for DRS. So that's great. Good. Now, we have done all these rules, 7, 8, summary, highlights, everything. We have discussed about this in the director's report also. Now we are going to start with a very, very interesting topic, CSR, that is corporate social responsibility. Something which is very new in the books also, very extensively they have given, and something which is very new in our own society also. People are becoming very much aware that yes, along with the business, they have to contribute towards the society also. Can you think about what is the meaning of CSR? It's a very common word which you have been listening many a times in your different fields. You have heard about this word in the news. You have heard about this word many a times in your economics book, in your social study books while you were studying history, civics, geography recently. When you passed class 10, you had English articles related to CSR. You have read this word somewhere in your business studies book. So what do you understand as a layman? What is CSR? Hota kya hai CSR? Before we try to understand its legal compliance. Okay, so corporate social responsibility, that's great. Some benefit that you're doing for the nature. Okay, Neeru, Preeti, Hardik says donation, something not expected in return, contribution to society, V. Smitha, Ambeshwari, okay, good, 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 good. So something that, okay, even small entrepreneurs. Yes, Anil Army, small entrepreneurs are also contributing. That's important. Very good. Ritik Gupta has given an excellent answer. As we take so much from the society, we have to return to it. Something for the society. Dilip, Ajay Surya, Nanda Goyal. Excellent children. So here what actually CSR is contributing towards the society. I go with Ritik Gupta's words very beautifully. He has written, we take so much from the society. Do we? We open up factories causing lots and lots of pollution. Even if we are not doing business, even if we are going for our jobs, even if we are studying, working, we are creating so much pollution by using our own vehicles. Are we trying to harm the environment? Yes, somewhere we are intentionally or unintentionally, both the ways, we are causing loss to the society by harming the environment at times, or when we are putting up big factories, all the emissions and other things causing pollution all around. So government thought that you are growing in your business and you're getting so much growth, you're using raw materials, you're using soil, water, everything, the natural resources that society provides you. You're using all those things. What are you doing for the society? Somebody said, I have opened up a shop, I'm selling clothes, so I'm doing something for the society. Are you doing it for the society? You're doing it for yourself. You're purchasing the cloth for 100 rupees, you're selling in the market for 110, you are earning the profit of 10 rupees. What are you doing for the society? That's your business. So when you're doing business, that is your income that you're earning. But out of those certain income returns, you need to pay back to the society is your social and moral responsibility also towards the society. So that's why CSR term came into picture, where corporates have been imbibed to contribute towards the responsibility has been given to them to contribute towards the society. Rules have been laid down in CSR policy rules. Section 135, read with the provisions of the rules 2014 given under CSR policy, it has become a statutory obligation. Statutory obligation means it's mandatory for certain companies to undertake the activities of CSR. Now, what can be these activities? There can be a number of activities which can be done for CSR, like plantation of trees you're doing. But are you really doing it? There will be impact assessment in few cases of the companies where agency will come and see, have you actually done that work? Some XYZ limited company takes up the work of CSR by saying that we are trying to clean all the rivers nearby places. We'll be disposing of all the dirt from the rivers and we'll be taking care. Are you actually doing it? How much money have you reserved for CSR? Are you actually spending that money for that particular purpose? So that is your overall picture about CSR. That is why Section 135 under the Companies Act 2013 specifically rules it. What are you going to do? What is CSR? How the committee is going to be formed? What are the companies to whom CSR is going to be applicable? And how the precise definition of CSR activities have been given. So these are basically donations or other kinds of activities that we're doing back for the public. Anil Army is saying they're also providing lots of employment, right? So providing employment is for you, employees are working for you to do business. Again, you're getting business from them. So you hire an employee and you pay salary to them. That is not corporate social responsibility. Corporate social responsibility is you move out of your business and do something for society. So the definition that we're going to do right now will make many things clear to you. All right, that's correct. Definitely, that is also causing pollution, Anil. I agree with you. Yes, you have to make Section 8 companies or registered society, Hardik, for contribution works towards CSR. That is all which we are going to discuss, all these points. So let's begin with the definition of CSR. It means the activities undertaken as a statutory obligation as per Section 135. Again, in briefly, in layman's language, we have understood that what we contribute towards the society, like nowadays, you have been hearing so many people doing CSR activities. Even the educational institutions where would have been working in your schools, colleges, they are also planting trees. We are becoming more and more aware about the environment. After COVID, people have started doing so many things. They are showing up in the society. Okay, they are trying to perform. It also gives you a good, well-built name also that see, this company is really contributing towards society. So in return, again, we are expecting something for ourselves also as a company. So that's why it says there are many activities which are not part of CSR. Yes, Kasak, that will be considered as CSR, but this definition that I'm going to do with you, that will make things more clear, okay? Activities that you do in the normal course of business are not CSR. Now, like I gave you an example that I said I'm a merchant who is buying the clothes and selling the clothes, and I'm doing so much for the society. I'm doing so much hard work. I'm going to Kashmir, I'm going to Delhi, I'm going to Bombay, I'm bringing and I'm exporting the clothes from abroad also, and I'm getting it at one place. And then Amazon people are doing so much service, at your doorstep. They're going to give you products when you just ordered online. Are they doing CSR? Not at all. They're doing business. They are earning in lakhs by providing you goods, by doing these delivery work and other things. So that is my normal course of business. Now, if I said that in this cloth business, I decided that I will give you discounts of certain kind of things. Or maybe there is a category of people I decided to give them free of cost. Now, one can be I'm giving them free of cost just to promote my business. So if I'm trying to promote my business, I'm doing it, say, for example, I have written many new books and I wanted to give them free of cost to others. Why will I give? So that people read, it will help me building my name, and I'll get more business for that. So I have lots and lots of clothes which have been lying. The new clothes are coming up. So I just want to, you must have seen many big shops. They put up this stuff on the sale now. Winter end sales will be coming up. So you'll be getting at a less rate. So that does not mean that they're doing CSR. It's a normal part of the business to let the stock go. So law says any activities, whatever activities, whether it is a sale, free of cost giving or funding or whatever you're doing, if it is in the normal course of business, if you're doing to gain more and more business, to become good in the eyes of the customer, that is not CSR. But another important amendment came for the financial year 2021, 22, 23. It said anything that you did related to COVID-19. Now, children, when COVID came, you must have seen many people came forward to put up langars for the people. They were doing seva, they were doing helping the society, providing them shelters, foods. For COVID, if you have been doing, because that was the need of the hour. We required big businessmen, big corporates to come forward and help people. There was so much hue and cry. People were in need of things. Then government said, if you have done anything for COVID-19, then you have really contributed towards the society. That will be covered as a part of your CSR, provided details of such activities should be reported in your annual report of the CSR. If any development activities, research activities, or any vaccination related activities you did, which were part of your normal course, but you have done something for the COVID-19, then for these financial years, it will be considered as part of your CSR. All right. Now, what else is not CSR? Anything that you're doing in the normal course of business is not CSR. But if you have done anything for COVID-19, then it is CSR. Any activity undertaken outside India. So you went to US and you said, I'm going to do CSR. Just for CSR, you went to US. There is no need. Better do some CSR to your own society in your own Indian places. We need more of that. So it says anything that you're doing abroad, outside India, it is not CSR, except if you're spending money for the training of Indian sports personals or state of union territory at national and international level, then it will be considered as CSR. So any training given to the Indian sports person for the state or union territory or national or international level, then it will be considered as a CSR activity. Amount contributed directly or indirectly to any political party. You thought BJP is going to be there in elections, Congress is going to come up, we'll contribute to this political party, we contribute to that political party, we do campaigning for them. That is not CSR. Anything that you're doing for the political parties, it is not CSR. Okay. So clear about the first 3 points. Anything that you do in the normal course of business is not CSR. Anything that you do for the political parties is not CSR. Any amount you're spending outside India is not CSR, except what? Except if you're doing the expenditure on the training of the sports person, national or international level. For the players, if you're doing any expenditure, that will not that will be considered as CSR. Any activity which is benefiting the society, any activities which is benefiting the employees of the companies. What is the meaning of employees of the companies? Now, suppose there is a company, ABC Limited, and it's a very, very big company having 10,000 employees working under them. Now, when you have 10,000 huge employees, there are males, females, all the employees category of people are working. So they thought that many a times females say that we have to go home early because we have kids, small kids at home. So they thought, let's open up a crèche over here so that the employees can comfortably work and the females can bring along their toddlers or other babies along with them at home. Now, this is a facility given to an employee of the company. Can you say that it is a CSR activity? This kind of a benefit, if I'm giving to my employee, if I'm giving him a house for an HRA, rent free accommodation, or if I'm opening up a crèche for their kids, or if I'm helping them to provide education for their kids in nearby school, which is owned by the company, am I doing any CSR? Just trying to help my employees so that they do more work for me. If I'll be good to them, they'll be good to me, I'll grow. That is the strategy what businessmen and companies are following, right? So you have to be good to employees so that they contribute more. Now, if you know that the female who is a very hardworking person, they have their crèche over there, if she can get their kids, she's at peace at mind, she'll be contributing more towards your organization. She doesn't have to, you don't have to do layoffs, she'll not leave your company. So that is then benefits for the employees. That is not a CSR activity. Okay. Activity supported by the company on sponsorship basis for a marketing benefit. This is very, very important. There was a company, ABC Limited. They said, there was a sports going on in a school and college, and we have put up all our hoodies and, sponsorships we have done for this school activity. What is ABC Limited trying to tell people? That look, your children have come for this cyclothon or any sports activity. Cyclothon nowadays, many children go for this cyclothon schools are organizing, just again a contribution towards the society so that people should do more of cycle rides so that less pollution is caused. Now school is doing this activity, but we as ABC Limited company goes and put their hoodies for the sponsorship. That is a marketing benefit that you're going to do. That is not CSR, but ABC Limited tried to promote this activity, encourage people to come forward without doing any sponsorship. If they're contributing towards the society, providing bicycles for this kind of purpose, helping the society in this manner, then it will be a CSR activity. But if you're just putting up your hoodies just to gain recognition among the people around there, just for your marketing benefit, it is not CSR. Any activities carried for the fulfillment of statutory obligations under law. Anything that law requires you to do and you're doing that, then it is not at all a CSR activity. Say, for example, you are an organization which is supposed to put up filters in such a way that whatever water or garbage that is going out shall be filtered, or whatever things you're doing within your factory, the law requires you that you are not supposed to throw the garbage in the rivers and all, then you are following those kind of restrictions. Then you're following law, you're not doing anything specific. Every company which is into that kind of business is following that law. Then you're not doing anything special for the society. Apart from these 6 activities, you need to come out of your comfort efforts and then you do something for the society is known as corporate social responsibility. All right. Marketing the hoodies, yes, that is not at all sponsorship activities. Absolutely, those who have written, if you're marketing the things, it is not a CSR. Manvi is asking second point. Okay, I'll explain you the second point. Second point talks about any activity undertaken. So if there is a company, ABC Limited, they spent in USA contributing over there for their society. They are doing certain activities for the poor children over there. So that is outside India you're doing, that will not be counted as CSR. But if you are spending any money for the training of the sports, you have for the any players are going and you're providing money for them. So any school or college is sending these for promotion of the Indian sports, you're sending the people at the state level. There is a chess competition and you're contributing money for the children for providing them training, then it will be considered as CSR. Okay, not otherwise. So this is your wider range definition of CSR. So the first part that we have done is what is CSR, what all activities come as a part of CSR. Now under section 139, we're going to understand which are the companies which are required to constitute CSR committee and its composition. So what all companies, every company shall have the corporate social responsibility of the board. So board of directors will decide whether the company needs to have the CSR, if there is a need of CSR committee or not. So this is the requirement. These are the limits to be met. I told you when we started this topic that not all the companies are required to constitute the CSR committee. There are certain companies which fall within these limits. They are required to constitute the CSR committee. What are those limits? Number one limit is net worth shall be 500 crores or more. Children, somebody for corporate social responsibility, big companies who are earning in big numbers, it is mandatory for them to contribute towards society. So the net worth is more than 500 crores or more. Or the turnover. There is a term or used. So it is not that all these limits have to be met. If there is a company whose net worth is 600 crores, it needs to constitute the CSR even if the net worth is 900 crores. So if your turnover is 1000 or more than 1000 crores, or your net profit is 5 crores or more. So if your net profit is 5 crores or more during the immediately preceding financial year, then you need to constitute the CSR committee. So what are the conditions? Quickly write down in the chat box once for me so that I know that you have understood. The net worth shall be more than or equal to. Net worth is more than or equal to 500 crores. Turnover is more than or equal to 1000 crores. Bigger figures we have to play, children. Net profit. This net profit is always before taxes, not after taxes. Okay. This net profit is always before taxes, 5 crores. So any of these limits, an important line during the immediately previous financial year. Previous year, okay? Not any other years. So I will be giving you a number of questions related to these practical studies today we are going to do. Very nice. Everyone has written the limits. So when you write it with your own hands, you will never forget it. Good. Apurv, Manvi, Ritik, good. Asta, nice. So net worth 500 or turnover 1000 or net profit more than 5 crores in the previous financial year. Now, what is this committee? How we are going to constitute this committee? 3 or more directors, out of which one is going to be a independent director. So how many people will be there in? How many people in CSR committee? 3 or more directors. Can I have 2 directors? No, ma'am. At least 3 directors are required. And one is independent director. Do I require 2 independent directors, children? Yes or no? Only 1 independent directors. If a company is not required to have an independent director, so there is a certain company which is, it is not mandatory to have an independent director, then how many people will constitute CSR committee? Then 2 or more directors. So what is the rule? If there is an independent director, then 3 or more directors. If there is no independent director, then the rule is 2 or more directors. Any doubts over here? So if you don't have an independent director, then 2 or more directors. And if the company is having an independent director, then 3 or more directors will be required to constitute the committee. Independent director, Nayan Patel, means somebody who is an independent person, who is not a related party. He is not part of your organization. He has been appointed from outside person. So independent director is largely a part of CA final, but here since the terms are used, so managing director is part of your company. Independent means who's having that independency. He is not having any relationship with your company. All right. And for the foreign companies also, they've missed this point. So foreign companies will also have to, if they are complying with these limits, they will also have the CSR committee with at least 2 persons and one will be nominated by the foreign company. Now, if these limits that we have done, children, very important point, these limits of 500, 1000, 5 crores shall be there for at least 3 consecutive previous years. If any of the 3 previous years, any of the limit is not maintained, then you're not required to comply with section 135. So please, you can write down in your notebooks where you have written these limits. If in any of these 3 previous years, these limits are not met, if in any of the 3 previous financial years, 3 consecutive previous financial years, if these limits are not met, then company is not required to constitute CSR. Then company is not required to constitute CSR committee. Then board of directors will only take care of the things, okay? And net profit, I told you, net profit is always profit before taxes. Another exemption that we should know over here is if your expenditure that you're doing on CSR is less than rupees 50 lakh. If you're doing the expenditures on CSR, which is less than or equal to 50 lakhs, then also there is no need of CSR committee. Then board of directors will only authorize you how you have to spend the money. It is only when your expenditure is over and above 50 lakhs. Then only the CSR committee is mandatory. All right. Who is not holding any shares in the company? Nanda Goyal, what are you asking? Okay, independent director, I think you were talking about. That's correct. Now, what are the duties of CSR committee? What are they going to do? They're going to formulate and recommend the board. They will go to board of directors. They will tell them that this is the CSR policy that we have framed for the company. And these are the areas of subjects which are specified in Schedule 7. Now, Schedule 7 is very important. Here we are going to follow Schedule 7 is the activities which the CSR has been laid down and they will get the approval from the board. The board will then recommend the amount of expenditure to be incurred on these activities. If the expenditure is less than 50 lakhs, then board will only decide there is no need of CSR company. And board will also monitor the CSR policy of the company from time to time. It's not that you have just constituted the CSR committee. Board will also check whether you have spent the amount as desired or not. Okay, you have to monitor also. Say, for example, you said that we'll be planting trees in this 50 acres area of land, then have you actually done that work or not? Monitoring also has to be done. Whatever commitments have been given by the CSR committee, are they actually following that or they're not? All right. Now, what are the duties of CSR committee? So they will list the projects, they will tell the manner of execution, how the manner of execution has to be done. Either a Section 8 companies or a registered societies will be formed, which will further modulate this process of the work. Monitoring activities, details of the need impact assessment, all these are the duties of your CSR that we'll be studying from the different rules. Subsection 3 read with Rule 5. So as per rules, we will do in detail how these duties have to be complied by the CSR committee. Now, this is very important. Amount of contribution towards CSR. Very, very important topic. 2-3 questions I have from this topic today. The board will ensure that the amount company spends in every financial year, at least 2% of the average net profits of the 3 immediate financial years. Now, how much is the amount which is to be contributed towards the CSR? कितना आपने CSR पे expenditure करना है? That is 2% of average net profits of 3 previous years. So if I tell you the net profit of 2023 was 80 crores, 2022 was 20 crores, and 2021 was 50 crores. How much do I need to contribute towards the CSR? If my net profit for the previous year, 23 was 80 crores, 22 was 20 crores, 21 was 50 crores, how much? Priti Kumari, point of duties of CSR we will do in a while. How much do I need to contribute? Nanda Goyal, while 140 is 2%, 80, 20 and 150. Carefully, please do it. How much do we need to contribute towards CSR? Are you calculating it in the right way? Yes, you are right for those that you have written 3 or more directors, if independent director. That was the right point. Good, Ritik Gupta. What about others? Yes, now everyone has calculated right amount. So how will you calculate the amount? Somebody is writing 3, somebody is writing 4. Let us calculate. So 80, 20, 100, 150 crores. So 150 crore divided by 3, that is 50 crores. Now you do 2% of this 50 crores, which comes out to be 1 crore. Why are you saying 1.667? I really fail to understand. 80, 20, 150 divided by 3, that is a clear cut. Lahari Moraju, thank you so much. It is a clear cut answer, 1 crore. So why somebody is writing 4 or 5.4.5? I don't know how you're computing 3 crore. Somebody is writing 50 lakh. So you need to improve on your maths, children. This kind of question is going to come in exam. Yes, 2% of NP. Acha, Mahi is writing acha, 2% of MP. Yes, you have to do 2%. I didn't take average. Very nice, children. That's why the teacher is here to tell you. We missed the percentage point, ma'am. Ajay Surya. Good. So that is the need. I'm sitting over here to explain you. So that was a quick test before explaining the point. So these are the 3 years profit. So what is the meaning of average profit? Add 3 years profit divided by 3. 80, 20, 50, 150 crores. You divide it by 3, you get 50 crores. Now you have to take it 2% of these average profit. So what was the 2% of the average 3 years profits? First, you will calculate the average profits, adding the 3 years profit divided by 3, and whatever the amount comes, 2% of that. So I hope now all of you agree with me. 1 crore is the correct answer. Everybody? So 1 crore will be the contribution amount of contribution towards CSR. Now it is mandatory for this company if it is following the condition of net worth, turnover, and net profit of 500 crores, 1005 crores, whatever limits we have done for the 3 consecutive years. Then this company needs to contribute towards the 2% of the average of the net profits for the 3 financial years. Where the company has not completed 3 financial years since incorporation, then 2 years it has completed, average of 2 years. 1 year only, then average of 1 year, whatever, how many years if you have completed. Less than 3 years, whatever time you have. 2.5 years, then average of 2.5 years. What will be the average of 2.5? 150 was 2.5 years, then 150 divided by 2. And uska 2% you have to calculate for the CSR. Where the company spends an amount in excess of the requirements, then the company may set off such excess amount against the requirement to be spent in the succeeding financial years or as may be subscribed. Very, very important point. It says, ma'am, you told us that, important point. They say, ma'am, you told us 1 crore we have to spend in this year now. But while spending, we have spent 1.5 crores. So you have spent excess 0.5 crore. You were supposed to spend 1 crore only. You have been so charitable. You have spent more than that. You spent 1.5. Now, what about this extra money? It says, don't worry. You can carry forward this 0.5 for the next succeeding financial year. You can adjust it. So next year again, if with 1 crore is required, then you spend 50 lakhs. Your 50 lakhs you've already spent now, so you just carry forward. So if you have spent the excess amount, you can carry forward it. Likh lo ye kahin pe. If you have spent the excess amount, then you can carry forward that amount. Then you can carry forward that amount to the succeeding financial years. But, I hope you're writing down. But, this excess amount shall not include, but this excess amount shall not include the surplus arising out of CSR activities. This excess amount shall not include the surplus arising from CSR activity. What is the meaning of surplus? Ma'am, one is the word excess. Excess, you told us, carry forward. What is this word surplus? Surplus is not carry forward. What is surplus? Surplus means that while you were doing this 1 crore activity, say for example, this 1 crore activity was for opening any hospital, you have to spend this money for that. But while you were opening this hospital, you were contributing, or maybe it was for setting up certain, all right, let's take it a contribution towards hospital. Many people have generously contributed also. Many people donated towards it. Or maybe you have kept any donation that you have been asking for, or maybe like the people do charity, or for any religious purposes, you have kept any, what do you call that? Something that you have kept, a religious Hanumanji's murti you have kept near this place when you're doing this work, and people have started contributing towards that only out of their own spiritual connections. So that contribution only came to 50 lakh rupees. Now this is surplus that you have earned. This is not your business profits. You were contributing for setting up a hospital for the poor people or the needy people, or for just for setting up a hospital. You're contributing towards the society. You're contributing from your own funds. If people have generously donated towards it, that is not your business income, that is not your business profits, that is surplus of your CSR that you have earned for your CSR activities. Now, this surplus 50 lakhs have to be utilized for this CSR growth. You cannot just take that money and keep it in your pocket. That has to be contributed towards that CSR. So, this is the difference between excess that you have spent upon CSR and the surplus that you get from the CSR. Yes, donation boxes, that is absolutely fine. All right. So I think let's take a small break over here because we have done extensive information. Just go through this from the study material. Yes, it has to be used in the same year. Yes, Hardik, that is exactly the point. So if you're getting surplus, that has to be used in the same financial year, but that has to be used only for the CSR. You cannot just take it out and use it in your own business. But the excessive amount you can just carry forward to the succeeding financial years also. All right. So let's take a small break here and then we'll continue the CSR activities. Yes, welcome back, students. CSR applicability, progressive, regressive, surplus concept. Okay. Don't worry. So many queries. We are going to do it from the study also. Lahari Moriju, don't worry. Let me open the study material only for you. Can you hear me now, children? My voice is audible? All right. So we'll be repeating and doing in detail the point related to excess as well as surplus. Nanda Goyal, I think some problem in your connection because everybody has confirmed me that the voice is audible. All right. Thank you so much for confirming, children. So we are talking about the corporate social responsibility. We have understood the meaning, definition we have done. Okay, Lahari Moruju, I'm now giving you a reference from the study only, so don't worry. Yes, Anil, it is progressive. You will keep on spending the amount in the future also. Okay. So you will keep for the 3 previous years, like we are carrying the amount, you will be carrying it forward for the next 3 previous years also. Let me see the students who are with us on portal also. The students on the portal, Bala Murugan, Nancy, Divya. Yes, I can see your answers. All right. So, Anil Army, I hope your question is clear now. It is progressive in nature. Activities undertaken in the normal course of business. Yes, if it fails to comply with the conditions, it is not required to constitute the CSR committee. That is what we have discussed, Anil Army. And once we will complete this topic, and then all your queries will get clear. So let us now move further on this topic. So this in the normal course of business, we have already done all these types of activities which are not included in CSR. Then we have spoken about the CSR committee. CSR policy means about the directions. I told you the directions that board is going to give you. So this part is easier from that summary that I've shown you. That summary is directly from the Ready Reckoner Saransh that has been updated for all of you on the website by the institute itself. So that is the easiest way to learn. Okay. You can learn it directly from that flowchart only. Administrative overheads. What is the meaning of administrative overheads? Administrative overheads means the expenditure that you're doing in respect of CSR only. Now, if you're opening a hospital for as a CSR activity, you think that you need to pay the general expenses of the management, the salaries of the employees, the labor who is working. All these are your administrative overheads. This administration overheads shall not be more than 5% of the total value of the CSR to be spent. This is which we'll be covering in the rules, the amount. Okay, so administrative overheads, the expenditures to be incurred by the company for the management and administration of CSR, like your rent expenses, management expenses, electricity expenses, salary expenses. But it will not include the expenses incurred for designing, implementation, evaluation of CSR projects. It will not include the designing, implementation, and monitoring of the CSR project. After that, it has spoken about the international organizations. It is set up by central government, how the rules apply to them. That is what we are going to study. Now, this is important point, net profit. Now, since we have moved to the study material, so the surplus and excess point will come little later. So don't worry, okay? We are doing all the points from the module also. What is the meaning of net profit? They have given you all the meanings that we have discussed earlier also. Net profit is always before the taxes. So that is very important. It is the net profit as per the financials and it is before taxes. It is not after taxes. It is NBT that you use in your accounts, net profits before taxes. But it will not include two very important things. Now, what are those two things which are not included in the net profit that is being used for the CSR? Number one, the profits arising from the overseas branch or branches which are operating as a separate company. So there is a company ABC Limited. It has an overseas branch. Remember in section 128, 129, we have studied about overseas branches. If you're having any company which is operating outside India, they send you your periodical returns. Remember, we have studied about this. Now, whatever periodical returns that they're sending you, the profits that this company is sending you, that profit will not be included in your net profit. So there's an overseas branch, whatever profit this branch has earned outside India, that shall not be included. So that needs to be reduced while calculating the profits to be used for your CSR. Any dividend received from other companies which are covered under the provisions of 135. So there is a company DEF Limited. ABC Limited is having a company DEF Limited. This DEF Limited has paid a dividend to ABC Limited. Now, if DEF Limited has already done the contribution of 2% of the average net profits, then the dividend that they have paid shall be excluded while utilizing the money for the CSR. So, for example, DEF Limited has already done the contribution towards CSR. What is the contribution to the CSR? That is 2% of the average net profits of the 3 years. So, this is that net profit that we are understanding what net profit has to be used for calculation of CSR. Number one, any profits from the overseas branches not to be included. If the company has received any dividend from other companies, now this other company DEF Limited is giving me dividend because I'm having certain shareholding in them. So if DEF Limited has already done the part of contribution, so they have used these profits. Out of those profits, they have paid me dividend. आपका accounts है ये सारा accounts आता है ना आपको chapter का नाम ही accounts of companies है. So आपकी calculation. So if dividend has already includes the amount of CSR has already been spent by them, now they are paying you the dividend. So exclude this dividend because इस dividend की contribution तो already CSR में जा चुकी है. They have already contributed towards the CSR by calculating their profits. Is that clear? Because company has already used this amount, so now you will exclude this dividend for the CSR contribution. Now, Hardik, then you will include that dividend. If that company is not covered under CSR, then you will include. Ankit Mishra, section 135 tells you how the CSR contribution has to be done. If you're following under these limits, then it is mandatory for you to constitute CSR committee and contribute. Voluntary contribution can anytime happen. There is no scruple on that. No, Sanya, dividend from overseas branch will also be not included because overseas branches profit is not included. Neither the dividend. Net profit as per the profit and loss account shall be read as per section 381. So section 381 is your foreign companies that we'll be doing later. So that is also a rule. If foreign companies it is applicable, it will apply at the same way. Now it talks about the ongoing project. Now the point that I was explaining you, let me go back to that point of surplus and excess because this point is related to the ongoing project. Ongoing project means the project which is exceeding more than 3 years. So say, for example, you have started building a hospital and for that you are doing that building part of work. It will take more than 3 years. So then this, if the expenditure is to be spread over that period, then children, that amount that you have contributed for CSR, that will need more time to complete. So it is a multi-year project, means it is a long number of years that is going to take, not exceeding 3 years, excluding the financial year in which it was commenced. So number one, if it is less than 3 years. If it was initially not approved as a multi-year, but the duration has been extended beyond 1 year based on the reasonable justification. So you said that when you're opening, it will be completing within 3 years time period. But if it has not approved in 1 year, it has not completed, then you can take its extension also. Let's understand the example. Modern Furniture Limited undertakes the CSR project of placing and installing benches as public parks and gardens in supervision of district administration. So there is a company, they're very fond of this Furniture Limited company. Every time they take it, same example. So MFL Limited is a company, they're contributing towards the CSR project. They're setting up the public parks. They're setting up benches in the public parks and gardens. The project's cost was span of 8 to 10 months, but due to renovation of half of a dozen of the parks, the task installing benches has been postponed because now they have started doing some other work has come up in between. So that's why your work got postponed till the construction is completed, which is expected to take further couple of quarters. Now, the board of directors, considering the circumstances, declared this project as an ongoing project because it extends beyond the duration of 1 year and they need to give reasonable justification. So, whenever you are having an ongoing project, suppose you were not able to complete for this year, you were not able to complete your CSR contribution because it's a long project, you have to give the reasons in your board's report that this is the reason for the justification why the amount has not been spent for this full financial year. So, then there you have to tell them that this project falls under ongoing projects. The projects which are initially less than year's time not registered, but the duration extends, the board, based on reasonable causes, will recategorize them. Decision of board is valid and legal. So who has the power to consider it as an ongoing project? Who has the power? Yes, it will be more. Yes, it will be more than, not more than 3 years. It is more than one. Okay. Aisha, Hardik, Lahari, Maruju, very good. Board of directors will have the power to count it as if it is going beyond 1 year, then it will be considered as legal and valid. How the 3 years is combined, that is a separate story about the surplus. So don't get confused. Here we are just understanding the definition of ongoing project. There, the slide which I was going to come with you was how the balance of 3 years was to be adjusted. So now we are doing it again from the initial scratch from the module. So we have done the definition of ongoing project, which is extending beyond 1 year on whose decision? Board's decision. Public authority is not very important to understand. Companies that are required to constitute all these limits needs to be met if you want to constitute the CSR. Every company, including its holding or foreign company having a branch office in India, will fulfill the criteria, then it shall comply with the provisions. So holding subsidiary, everybody who is having net worth of more than 500 crores, turnover of more than 1000 crores, net profit of more than 5 crores. If I'm having net profit of only 5 crores, not more than, but if I'm having just 5 crore rupees, do I need to comply with the CSR committee? Do I need to constitute the CSR committee? Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes, ma'am, because it is 5 crores or more. Good, good, good. A company having the amount or balance in the unspent corporate social responsibility as per section 135, subsection 6. They have not yet come on subsection 6. This is the amount unspent on the corporate social responsibility. They need to comply with the subsection 2 to subsection 6 of the said section. Let me explain you what is the meaning of unspent corporate social responsibility now. You were supposed to spend 1 crore rupees. You have only spent 55 lakhs. How much amount has not been spent? You were supposed to spend 1 crore. Out of that, you have just spent 55 lakh rupees. How much amount you have not spent, children? Yes, 45 lakhs. Correct, correct answer. So now this 45 lakhs is the amount unspent. Either you plan to spend it as an ongoing project for the next 3 years. If still balance is left, you can either transfer it for the 6 months to be put in the Schedule 7 fund. Government will decide how this amount to be used. You will not be decided. But if there is an excessive amount, then that amount will be carried forward and adjusted and set off in the next 3 financial years. Let us understand how they have explained you. So there is a company having the net worth and turnover is the same meaning. So ABC is a company having a turnover of 1000 crore in the 3 previous financial years and incurred loss in one of the years. Is it required to constitute CSR committee? Tell me, children. It is having a turnover of more than 1000 crore and has incurred a loss in one of the years. Do we need to consider this loss also? Do we need to see this loss also? It says if the one of the 3 criteria has been satisfied, company is mandatorily required to head CSR committee and comply with it. It is required and comply based on the turnover. The mere fact that the company has incurred loss is not considered while determining the applicable. If the company has just incurred loss, it is not to be bothered. The turnover has to be seen, not the net profits we are required. Okay, understood all of you? It is required to constitute the CSR committee. Yes. Good, good, good. Where the amount to be spent by the company, I told you this point also, if it is less than 50 lakhs, then who will decide? If the amount that I'm going to spend it is less than 50 lakh rupees, then I need CSR committee or board will decide? Excellent. Board will decide. Good, good, good. How many directors? Three or more. One is independent director. If you don't have an independent director, then two directors. Private bid company having two directors will constitute CSR having with two such directors. Okay. Independent director is same as it is defined under section 2 clause 47. So you can refer to chapter 1 of this module. So this is the summary that we have discussed earlier also. Two or more directors without independent director. If you don't have private company, two such directors, and any other company, three directors having one of them as an independent directors. And foreign company will have again two persons. Duties of CSR. I have explained you these duties to constitute CSR expenditure and monitoring. I told you that how much cleaning of the rivers have been done. That also needs to be monitored. Action plan has to be made, the list of CSR projects, how the execution is being done, how the funds are utilized, and the need of impact assessment, which will be coming up in different rules. Impact assessment will be coming up under rule number 9. I suppose we'll be discussing about the impact assessment. We are going to do impact assessment in rule number 8, CSR reporting. So duties of the board, first we're going to discuss. The board will approve the CSR policy and it will keep how the activities are to be undertaken. All these things will be done. Now they have tell the amount of expenditure, 2% of the average net profit. So you will see everything is covered in the presentation. It's just that they have written out detailed over here. They have written out in summary. 380 section, those who are referring, Hardik, that is foreign companies. So when we do foreign companies, we can understand it is basically section 372 to 386 are applicable to foreign companies. So that reference has been given to that section, particularly for foreign companies. Yes, Lahori Moruju, 2 persons for foreign companies. That is simple to learn. Including directors. Yes, that is the directors also. Because foreign companies use some other word. Now we use directors. What is the provisions of foreign companies? We will do over there. So 2% of the average net profits immediately 3 previous years. Administrative overhead shall not exceed 5% of the expenditure. Now they have started with the rules. Rule 4, 7, 10. We are going to do now. Pay 100% attention. All of you will be paying over here. Now, how the boards needs to spend the amount, 2% of the net profits. We have already discussed about this point. The company will give the preference to the local area and the area around for spending the amount of corporate social responsibility. There is a company, ABC Limited, which calculated 2% of the average net profits, that is 1 crore. They decide to spend this CSR in USA. Law said, in India, we have so much need. Why are you going in USA? We are not including that expenditure of spending outside India and CSR. You do something for the local market. So that's why you have to spend in India, whatever amount has to be spent. Anywhere in India. If it is not possible to find something in local area, then you can spend anywhere in India, but not outside India. And your administrative overhead shall not exceed 5% of the total expenditure. This is also the point that I've told you when we discussed about the administrative overheads. कितना खर्चा कर सकते हो आप salaries में, management में, rent में, expenditure में? 5% of the total CR. Total CSR expenditure we have computed is 1 crore. 5% of that only you can spend for the administrative overheads. Where the company has not completed the period of 3 financial years since its incorporation, then 2 financial years, take the average of 2 financial years, okay? Now let's come to the company spend in excess of the minimum prescribed limit. So if the company has spent 1 crore 20 lakhs, then this excess limit shall be carried forward and spent in the immediately succeeding 3 financial years. If you have excess amount, we have written down this also, right? You're making me repeat each and every line from the module, children. This is not fair. This will take too much time. Okay? So excess amount we'll carry forward, but this will not include the surplus. Again, that murti that was kept, you calculated the surplus also. This amount will not be carried forward. It has to be spent as per sub rule 2, which we are coming in a while. Board resolution has to be passed. Boards will pass the resolution. The surplus amount will not be carried forward. It will be transferred to your Schedule 7 fund. Surplus in the sense, Nanda Goel, means any amount. If you're opening a hospital, people have also contributed, given you donations for that thing. You have kept certain murti outside, people started paying charity over there. So that is not your business income. You have not earned it. That is also part of CSR. You have to put in that CSR activity only. That is surplus of the CSR. But excess amount means karte karte kharcha zyada ho gaya. That excess amount you can carry forward for the 3 years. When the company fails to spend the amount, now you were to spend 1 crore, you have not spent the minimum prescribed amount. Now the problem happens. You have to give the reasons for not spending. You said you're going to open up hospitals, you're going to do this charity, you're going to do cyclothons, you're going to donate cycles, you're going to protect the environment by planting trees, and company has prescribed the minimum 1 crore. Company fails to do that. You have to give the reasons. What is section 134? Where are you giving the reasons? What is section 134? Specify the reasons in your board's report. Yes, donated voluntarily by public, Nanda Goel. Absolutely correct. Okay. This is the amount by board's report. You have to disclose the reasons. Where the unspent amount relates to projects other than ongoing projects. If it is not ongoing project, then this unspent amount shall be given in Schedule 7 within 6 months from the expiry of financial year. But if it is an ongoing project, then how you have to spend, I will take you in my chart, because here it will become too complicated and you'll not understand how you have to spend. Now, see, we have understood how the amount has to be spent. Now, the amount unspent on CSR amount. If it is not an ongoing project, first we are understanding it is not an ongoing project means you have done the definition of ongoing project less than 1 year. If it is more than 1 year, board's approval is required. So if it is not that ongoing project, then immediately transfer the amount to Schedule 7. Government will decide within a period of 6 months of the expiry of the financial year. So X period of financial year 23-24, suppose 24th March 24 has expired, financial period has ended. So April, May, June, July, August, September, by 30th September, transfer this balance amount that has been left, introduce it. Everyone clear about this point? Everyone is clear about this point. Now let's talk about the ongoing project. There is a building that you have taken up which needs at least 3 years of construction time period. Now, over the period of time this expenditure will be done, it is an ongoing project. Board has given you the approval for more than 1 year. Please spend it over the period of time. Like in that park, we were setting up the benches. It has taken a longer period. Now you transfer this unspent amount to the unspent CSR account within a period of 30 days from the end of financial year. You have not spent full amount. You were to spend 1 crore. You have just spent 50 lakhs. Balance 50 lakhs within a period of 30 days from the end of financial year. You spend it. You put it in the unspent CSR account. Now you can spend this amount in the next 3 years. So 2021, 30 days transferred in the next 3 years. If after 3 years, so in 2021, you have kept this after 30 days, or 2023-24, you have kept in 30 days. By 30th April, you have transferred it to the unspent CSR account. Now 24, 25, 26. 3 years have elapsed. Now still the amount is unleft. Shall be spent by the company according to its CSR policy within the period of 3 financial years. Now 24, 25, 26. If still failed in year 26, you still have the balance. Then within a period of 30 days, transfer this amount to Schedule 7. आपसे नहीं हो पाएगा spend now. Better give it to the government. Transfer it to Schedule 7 within a period of 30 days from the date of completion of the 3rd financial year. Now, did you notice a very interesting difference over here? If it is not an ongoing project, then within how much time period I'm supposed to transfer it to the Schedule 7? Very good. Excellent. 6 months is the correct answer. Khushi, Ajay Surya, Ritik, Hardik, Nanda, Pallavi, Preeti, everybody. Yes, Lahari Marju, it is like that account only, which is the government will take care of this thing. Okay. Anil Army, we have not moved to Schedule 7. Please pay attention on what I'm teaching right now. Okay. Please pay attention on that point. Everybody's clear on 6 months. But if it is an ongoing project, in 30 days, I transfer it to unspent CSR account. You gave me a time of 3 years. Within how many days now I need to transfer it to Schedule 7 fund? Within how many days I need to transfer it to Schedule 7? Within 30 days. In ongoing project, I'm not getting 6 months because he has already given me 3 years. He has already given me 3 years to spend. That's why in 30 days you need to transfer. Yes, good, Anil Army. After completion of 3 years, 30 days now. So first 30 days, you transfer it to unspent CSR amount. Make the chart like this. First 30 days, you spent amount unspent in CSR account. Take the 3 years time period. Still not spent, transfer it in Schedule 7 fund. Schedule 7 fund, you don't have to learn. It is the government fund. Government will decide how to use the money now. Okay. Already you have so much to learn. Why you want to learn about Schedule 7 also? Let's leave the things which are not given over here. Everyone clear? So like you give the funds in IEPF account, then you give in Schedule 7 account. Now government will take care how to spend it. You are free from your botheration. So ongoing project, 30 days, 3 years, 30 days. Very good. If it is not ongoing project, 6 months, transfer it to the Schedule 7 fund. I hope everyone is now clear upon this point. Now, last point of section 135 is the penalty that we're going to do. What is the penalty? Twice the amount to be transferred by the company. If any default has been made, the penalty to the company will be twice the amount of the fund to be transferred in Schedule 7 or the unspent corporate social responsibility account, as the case may be. So when was the unspent corporate social responsibility account? When you were using it for the ongoing project. If it is for the other project, then you were transferring it to the Schedule 7 account. So whatever is the case, if you have transferred, say, suppose out of 1 crore, you have not been able to spend 20 lakh rupees, then twice the amount of this. 20 lakh ka to 40 lakhs will be your penalty, or rupees 1 crore, whichever is less. So what is less? 40 lakh. And what is the penalty of the officers in default? 1/10 of the amount. When does this penalty rise? If CSR amount is not spent or the amount is not transferred to Schedule 7 account. You said, okay, amount is not spent. Let's keep this amount in our own P&L account. Why are you keeping it? It was for the corporate social responsibility. It is mandatory for you to spend it according to section 135, subsection 5. If you have not complied with subsection 5 or subsection 6 for the ongoing, non-ongoing projects, if you are not transferred it as per that requirement, then twice the amount transfer, penalty or rupees 1 crore, whichever is less. What is the penalty of officer in default? 1/10 of this, 20 lakhs. So 2 lakhs will be the penalty, or 2 lakh, whichever is less. So 2 lakh will only be there. So this is how your penalty is computed in case of CSR. Now, since you're doing CSR in so much detail, there is just one penalty. So try to learn. Yes, Lahari Moraji, if you have not transferred the amount, then only these penal provisions will be applicable. It still has applicability of Rule 3. Every company, including holding and of a subsidiary. See, I have now covered these points from the module. So board will decide how the constitution has to be done. Implementation will be done. Only one point is left, which is related to your impact assessment. Any surplus arising will not form part of business profits. It will be plowed back into the same project. Means you are setting up a hospital, put that money back, 50 lakh rupees also in the same project, or transfer it to the unspent CSR amount and spend it as per the action plan of the company. So this is your surplus provisions. Board will check the administrative overheads are not exceeding 5%. And any surplus, you can take the picture of this. Rule 7, surplus expenditure has to be done like this. It is not your business profits, and it is not to be spent for the company's business. It is to be given back into the same way as it has to be used by the company in the same project, or transfer it within the 6 months period to the Schedule 7, or transfer it to the unspent CSR account. If any building has been purchased, any capital asset has been purchased, will the CSR thing will be taken up in the company's name? Then the company has built a capital asset. Company is not building any capital asset. We are doing CSR. So how will we do? Here is your reference of starting up a Section 8 company or a registered public trust or a charitable objectives, and they will take this CSR registration. Now it is talking about how you're going to implement CSR. Rule 7 tells you how the CSR implication has to be done. How are you going to do it? You have understood how much money has to be put into CSR. If you have not earned, spent the money, then the money will go in unspent CSR account 30 days, 3 years spent, then balance 30 days may schedule 7. Not ongoing project. Within 6 months of the financial year, you put the amount in the schedule 7. Government will take care. Now, how are you going to do it? Company will set up a company under Section 8 or a public trust, or these kind of companies will be set up, and they will take the CSR registration number from ROC after filing CSR1 form, and then these companies will be taking the registration number, and in the name of these companies, we will purchase that capital asset. So any capital asset created by the company within a period of 180 days will comply with the requirement of this rule, shall not be more than 90 days. You can leave this point, not very important point, but what is important to understand is that the capital asset that you're purchasing shall be in the name of Section 8 companies or the public trust that you have formed, not in your own name. We have done these points also. Now let's move down to rule number 8, where impact assessment is going to come. The board's report, basically those pertaining to financial year, includes the annual report also. Okay, this is a very simple point. Now let's talk about the impact assessment. What is the meaning of impact assessment? Every company having the average CSR obligation of 10 crores or more. Now, there is a limit that if you have the average obligation of 10 crores or more, it has to be spent as per Section 135, subsection 5. That is either on the ongoing or non-ongoing projects in the 3 immediately preceding years. Now, if there is a company, Reliance, it has a CSR obligation of more than 10 crores and it is spending its money. Don't you see that somebody has to see whether the money is being utilized properly or not? Then an independent agency will be hired who will come to do the impact assessment. How this impact assessment will be done? They will see the CSR projects for more than 1 crore that you have completed in less than 1 year, whether it is actually functional or not. For example, you said tree plantation will be done in some major part of the city. Whether you have actually done for 1 year, after 1 year, they'll come and see. You have said today and tomorrow you have planted so many trees. Is it really there for after 1 year time period? Have you taken care of it also? You said the rivers will be cleaned or any other activity will be taken up. So once you have spent 1 crore rupees and less than 1 year has been completed, then the impact assessment agency will come and review your work, whether you have done it properly or not. And to whom it is applicable? Where the CSR obligation requirement is 10 crores or more. If you're having the CSR obligation of 5 crore, do you need to get the impact assessment done? Do you need to get the impact assessment done? If you're having CSR obligation of 12 crore, do you need to get the impact assessment done? Very good. And what about these children? Yeah, children, I forget about the students on the portal. Yeah, Bala Murugan, Nancy, Ankit, Vedant, Tiwari, all of you children. Good, good, good. You're also giving correct answers. Abhirami, Zomato, Amazon, like companies making loss, how will be determined? So, Abhirami, you simply have to see the net worth or the turnover of the net profit. If you're into losses and you're not having that kind of limit, then you don't have to comply with the requirements. Okay. All right, Ankit Mishra, everybody has given the correct answers here also. Then who will take action? Ankit Mishra, law has been made, penalties have been made. That's why the action will be taken against them if the company violates the conditions. Just the penalty that we did will become applicable to them. Every company having the average, so 10 crores or more, yes, we were doing question answers round. Okay, then for the 3 financial years, they're going to spend this amount. Impact assessment will be done. When is the independent agency going to come and see? When you have completed the projects at least of rupees 1 crore and not less than 1 year before undertaking the impact study. So 1 year must have passed and at least you have spent rupees 1 crore. Then only they'll come and see whether your work has been done correctly or not. And this company, ABC Limited, paid certain fees to this independent agency. Can we call it the CSR expenditure? Now, this is a little tricky. Impact assessment reports will be placed before the board, and company undertaking took the expenditure towards this corporate social responsibility. Now, it says that if you have paid certain kind of fees to these people, will it be a part of CSR? It says if it is 2% of the total CSR or 50 lakh, whichever is higher, if this amount does not exceed this limit. Say, for example, the fees to be paid to these people were rupees 45 lakhs. So you have to see the 2% of the total CSR spent out of 1 crore, 2%, you see, 2% was spent 20 lakhs or 50 lakhs, whichever is higher, 50 lakhs. So if this amount of, how much was the amount that I fixed? 2 lakhs. If the fees of 2 lakh is within this limit, then yes, it will be considered as the CSR expenditure. Don't go into much details. It is so huge. Simply remember the important provisions, the provisions that we have done when the CSR is applicable. Ongoing or not ongoing projects are important. How the funds amounts are transferred, what are CSR activities, how the CSR is computed, and little bit about impact assessment. Since it's given in detail over here, you can just make two short notes. One, when it is applicable, 10 crore or more. Then after 1 crore and 1 year has passed, then the impact assessment agency will come and have a review. And third is the fees that you are paying to them will be counted as CSR fees or not, only if it is within the limit of 2% of the total CSR expenditure or 50 lakh, whichever is higher. If it is within that limit, then yes, it is allowed as the CSR expenditure. Nanda Goyal already did once again. Okay, so I hope you have understood. It will take time, children. It is very huge. I understand with all of you, but I have to complete section 136 and 138 also. And then we will be doing n number of questions. You will be much relaxed. Okay, so I'll give you a break also in between to grab the information what we have studied about CSR. But let me just complete the syllabus, children. Otherwise, we'll be left with the syllabus. And on 18th, I'm meeting you for the audit and auditors also. So don't worry. Even if you have any doubts about CSR left, you can ask me in that class also. Now, section 136, very, very interesting and easiest section of this chapter. You have been studying about section 92 and 137, so many places it used to come. Now is the time that we are going to do these respective sections. Section 136 reads it out to itself is right of the members to the copies of the audited financial statement. Do you think the members or the shareholders have the right to receive the audited financial statements? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? Do they have this right? Section 136 has given them the right to receive these copies. It is their right to have a view to the financial statements, including the consolidated financial statements. What is the audit report? How the audit report has been made? The shareholders have the right to see these financial statements. Yes, they are the owners. Great. Ma'am, there is illustration 9. Can you explain that? Okay, Preeti Kumari, once we are done with the syllabus, just remind me. I'll take you there. Copies of audited financial statements, CFS, consolidated financial statements, audit report, and all these documents shall be sent to every member. Who is the member? Shareholder. Who is the debenture holder? Who is debenture holder, children? You have done this chapter with me, share capital and debentures. Who is the debenture holder? I forgot who is the debenture holder. Can you tell me? We are appoint a trustee for the debenture holders to take care whether their assets have been secured nicely, everything is being taken care. So a trustee is appointed. It is a kind of a borrowing given to the company. So debenture holders also have the right to these financial statements. To whom these reports needs to be sent? To the trustee of the debenture holder. To every shareholder, to the trustee of debenture holder, and to all the other entitled persons. Within how many days the reports needs to be sent? At least 21 days before the general meeting. At least 21 days before the general meeting. In case of the listed companies and public companies, net worth is more than 1 crores and turnover is more than 10 crores. In the electronic form, it needs to be sent. What is the condition for sending the notice for less than 21 days? It says that you have done the condition of sending the notice of less than 21 days. If I want to send these copy of audited financial statements, audit report to the members for less than 21 days, We have to follow the same conditions as we have done in the chapter MGT for the EGM. And what was the limit for the EGM? If it is a company having a share capital, if it is a company not having a share capital. If the company is not having a share capital, you need the approval of 95% of the total voting power. And if it is a company having a share capital, then you need a dual majority. One is more than 50% of the shareholders holding 95% of the total paid up capital. So you need to send these financial statements, including consolidated financial statements, to every member, trustee of the venture holder, any other entitled person within how many days? 21 days before the general meeting. If ABC Limited is a company, it is having around 200 members, having a total paid up share capital of 100 crores. Then if it wants to send less than 21 days, these financial statements for in less than time period of 21 days, then approval of how many members is required? How many did I say? 200 members. Then at least 101 members shall give the approval who are holding at least 95% of the paid up share capital. No, it is not clear 21 days. It is written 21 days, Hardik. So it is the difference between clear 21 days is the notice that you give for the AGM. Here they have not used the word clear 21. Okay. And if I say that there are 50 members out of 200 who are holding 95% of the share capital, will it work? Will their approval work? No, ma'am, because at least majority of the shareholders have to be given. It will not work, Nanda, Goel and Mahi, because majority of the shareholders, if out of 200, at least 100 members should be saying yes, more than 100. Then only it will work. Now, how the circulation has to be done? It can be done in the electronic mode and even it can be done physical mode. The shareholders holding the shares in DMAT form, they have their email IDs, then you can do it electronically. If they're not having email IDs, then just simply send it in the physical form. Shareholders not holding the shares in DMAT form, but they have given a consent in writing that they want an electronic mode. So the shareholders of the company, they say that we don't want the physical copy to come at our place. Simply send all these data financial statements on the emails. Then you simply send them to the emails. Then you don't have to comply with the requirements of this sending them the physical copies. And circumstances where less than 21 days notice can be sent, not the notice, 21 days, less than 21 days, these financial statements can be sent. Company not having a share capital, 95% of the total voting power, having a share capital, members, majority of the members holdings more than 50%, and at least holding 95% of the share capital of the company. Is that clear? Copies of the financial statements shall deemed to be served if they have been made available for inspection at the general at registered office. So the copies shall be available for inspection all the time at the registered office during working hours for a period of 21 days before the meeting. So instead of in case of listed companies, they say that it is such a huge big data of financial statements, how will we keep sending to everyone's house? So it is better that you keep it open for inspection during working hours, and 21 days before they will keep it open for the inspection. You can come and review. Plus, they will need to send a statement of the silent features to all the members, trustee holders, debentures holders, but at least 21 days before the meeting. One, they will keep all the financial statements open for inspection before 21 days, and they will simply send a statement of silent features that ye mota mota aapka turnover, revenue, and everything about the details about to the members, and a statement or document will be sent so that it becomes easy for them to circulate also and to study also. Because it becomes so difficult for you also to open up all the entire financial statement and study, you can simply go and review it. It is kept open for the inspection. And this last section number 137 tells you that the financial statements to be filed with the financial statements to be filed with the registrar. Section 137 is a very simple section. It tells you that all these financial statements needs to be filed with the ROC within how many days? Within how many days this needs to be filed? I think we have missed about the foreign company, foreign subsidiary limits of section 136. Do you want to do that also? Very good, very good. Let me show you this point from the study material module also once. This is your entire study about ongoing and non-ongoing project. CSR implementation. This is children. Simply, you can give it a reading rule for how you have to spend the money implementation. It's not very detailed. Simply, you can give it a reading. Can an international organization engaged in the implementation of CSR? Somebody has asked this. Yes, international organizations can also be engaged for the implementation of CSR, but the engagement will only be for the designing, monitoring, and evaluation as well as for the capacity building. So you cannot do the CSR activities outside abroad, but if international organization wants to help you and come you in India and help you for the CSR policy implementation, then yes, they can help you in the implementation of the projects also. Let's come to section 136. Now, these are all the details that they have given how you can do promoting education, hunger, environment, training. These are just basic activities names that they have given you. How you can do CSR and COVID also, whatever you're doing in COVID, it is a kind of CSR activity. Also, these Har Ghar Tiranga and all these kind of campaigns have also now been considered as a part of CSR activities. You can just give it a fair rating, not that details of projects and how number of corporates have contributed. Section 136, thank God. So this is something that we have done, copy of separate audited and unaudited financial statements. Yes, why the word unaudited has been used over here? Can you tell me? Why are they using the word unaudited financial statement? So if ABC Limited is having a foreign subsidiary, DEF Limited in USA, and in USA, they are making their consolidated financial statements and uploading it over there, then also it is fine. And say as per their laws of the country, they're not required to audit it. So even if it is an unaudited financial statements, then also please keep it open on the website, because say, for example, tomorrow, if any company has 100 subsidiaries, anyone wants to review the financial data, they will simply go to the website of ABC Limited. It is not required to go to different websites for the 100 subsidiaries. They will simply open their website and anyone can come and check the detailed data of their subsidiary also, whether it is audited or unaudited financial statements. Okay. For Section 8 companies, it is 14 days. This is something that you have read in your childhood days in CA Foundation. Also, we have been reading for Section 8 companies, 21 days is substituted for 14 days. So this is for your listed companies, electronic mode. We have discussed this point, physical dispatch point also done, silent features point also done. In AOC 3 form, if you want to remember the name of the form, this is how your 21 days publication has to be done, electronic modes. So this was the point that I have just explained you. Subsidiary incorporated outside India is also known as foreign subsidiary. The statutory requirement to prepare CFS, then CFS will be placed on the website. If they are not required to get this audited, then unaudited financial statement plus a translated copy in English has to be given. So you have a subsidiary in France and they have prepared their in French their financial statements. So you will not keep the French audited unaudited financial statements. एक तो audited भी नहीं है, unaudited है, and now you have posted it in French language. So please get it translate into English, because all the Indians might not be knowing how to read French. So at least in English language, it shall be translated. All right. Somebody, Nanda Goyal, you can prepare CFS if your company is required. Even if it is not required, then CFS of your holding company will go over there. So illustration 10, children, is very elaborative. You can read this illustration. After that, let's move to the last section, section number 137, which tells you that all these copy of the financial statements, all the documents duly adopted at annual general meeting shall be filed with the registrar. What is the meaning of duly adopted at the annual general meeting? Means accepted by the shareholder. All the copies of the general meeting accepted by the shareholders shall be filed with the registrar within 30 days. Now, section 137 is actually very important. So I want to do it with all of you from this detailed statements over here. So it shall be filed within 30 days with the registrar, 30 days of the date of AGM. And if it is an unaudited financial statements, then within 30 days of the AGM, where the registrar take them as the provisional record. Means it will be considered as the provisional filing. Say, for example, your AGM has been adjourned or the unadopted means you have not accepted. So your financial statements were laid down in the AGM, annual general meeting. The shareholder said, okay, fine, we accept. It is everything is fine. Within 30 days, you file it with the ROC. But then there were certain shareholders who were not agreeing to it. Hum to nahi manenge. How did you do this? How did you do that? Unadopted. So they adjourned the meeting. We can't keep wasting time. Let's adjourn the general. So now what will you do? Do you need to still need to file this with the financial statement? So a provisional filing will be done for these financial statements within 30 days of the AGM. They will tell them that we'll still make the final financials, but as of now, we're just doing the provisional file. Further, they are adopted in the adjourned meeting, then you file the final 30 days of the adjourned meeting. So it was 30th September, you have still not freezed 30th September, May, within 30 days, 30th October, tak, provisional filing. The meeting happened on 31st December, by 30th January, file this final once. Okay, and if the meeting is not only held, then it is very simple. Pick up these prescribed documents. Reasons for not holding the meeting. Number 1, file it with the ROC. Number 3, 30 days from the date when the AGM was scheduled to happen. So 30th September, the meeting was scheduled to be happen. You did not hold. By 30th October, you file these documents along with the reasons why you did not hold the meeting with the ROC. Is that clear, children? Everyone is clear about this point of the AGM means? Yes, inclusive of the day of AGM. Within 30 days of the AGM means just then say AGM hua from that date. Okay, Mahi? Okay, good. Abhishek Mishra has written clear, ma'am. Good. So in case of OPCs, the financials shall be adopted within 180 days from the closure of the financial year. You have to send it, and companies having subsidiaries, we have already discussed this point. The last topic, section number 138. Who can be your internal auditor? Internal one is statutory auditor, which we'll be starting from 18th, this lecture of auditors. But you can also have an internal auditor. Internal auditor is your chartered accountant or cost accountant or any other professional decided by the board. So is it compulsory to have only CA as an internal auditor? Yes, ma'am, or no, ma'am? As per this definition, is it compulsory that only CA can be appointed? Can we only have a chartered accountant as an internal auditor? No, ma'am. It is clearly written that any other professional, as may be decided by the board, can be appointed as the internal auditor. Companies eligible to appoint the internal auditor. A company which is a listed company and a private company having a turnover of 200 crores or more if your outstanding loans and borrowings exceed 100 crore or more. So how you have to learn it? Double the amount of loans you are having the turnover. So if your loans are more than 100 crores and turnover is more than 200 crores, then you need to appoint an internal auditor. If it is an unlisted public company, then your paid up share capital limit, turnover limit, 4 limits needs to be seen. Paid up share capital is 50 crores or more, turnover of 200 crores or more, outstanding loan is 100 crores, outstanding deposits is 25 crores. Now, how you have to learn it? In every limit, there is the other limit is getting double. So private company is very simple, 100 crore, outstanding loans, double the 200 crore turn. Unlisted public company, paid up share capital is double of the deposits. Deposits 25 crore, paid up share capital 50 crore. Borrowings 100 crore, turnover 200. So borrowing and turnover is same in both the cases. Deposits and paid up share capital 25 and 50 crore is something that you have to remember and learn. Only these companies are required to conduct their internal auditor. And what is the scope of internal auditor? Audit committee will decide, the board will constitute the audit committee, and they will decide the scope and functions of the internal auditor. All right. So here we come to an end of the chapter of accounts of companies. Now we'll be taking a break of 10-12 minutes. You will go through your CSR topic, and after that we have good 15-20 minutes. We still have half an hour's lecture left. We are going to spend extensive time on doing number of questions. So let's take a small break here, and after break, we are going to do the questions. All right, let's take a small break here. Back, students. So I was just going through your doubts. Few of you have asked certain doubts. Let me just throw some light on it and then we'll start with the question answers round. Yes. Company doesn't having a subsidiary. So Nanda Goel, the CFS provisions specifically include either having one or more subsidiaries or having associates and joint ventures. Both of them places, you have to prepare the CFS statements. The only exception is that 3 points that we have done. All right. AOC 4 XPRL forms, Hardik, it is simply a forms which they have given. What are the e-forms? Are they important? Rajesh Kumar Sahu is also asking the same point. Okay, I'll just share with you. There are certain category of companies which are required to prepare this AOC form. This is the format, children, that you use. There are certain companies which are listed in India having a paid up share capital 5 crores, 100 crores turnover. That is the only requirement for the companies who are required to prepare their financial statements as per Ind AS in the AOC 4XBRL form. All right. So it is just a category of the form that you have to remember. But NBFCs, housing finance companies are exempted. They are not required to use this XBRL form. Okay. This is just for the online forms provisions that we have given. For section 137, you can also learn this penalty that they have given in the study material. Yes, you can refer to Law Saransh from ICAI Ritika Gupta. There is no doubt in that. It is easily available on Board of Studies website. You can definitely refer to Law Saransh from ICAI. It is very good. It will help you, give you summarized provisions, and you can learn from that. Now, as promised, it's the time to do certain questions. So, Tripati Limited, a listed company, has made the following profits. The profits are given in the relevant section of the Companies Act. Oh my God. Yes, you can, Ritika Gupta, you may. Yeah, Sukhveer Kaur Nanda Goyal has given me the answers also to this question. I am so blessed to see your answers, children. Aisha, before even telling the question, you have written the answers. Preeti Kumari, Hardik, very nice. So I hope you all have computed the limit by now. Average of the profits of the 3 previous years have to be taken, 150 crores to 2% of the average net profits. So by chance, the same question that I have done with you in the class, it is similar to that. Now, the second answer you have to answer me, 1 crore is the absolute correct limit for the year 2017-18 that you can spend. And the composition of CSR for the unlisted and private company. What will be the composition of CSR? 2 directors, 3 directors or more in case of unlisted companies, having 1 as the independent director, and private company shall be having 2 directors shall constitute as the CSR. Is that clear? See, children, now you are answering it. Just 10 minutes before, you were so worried. Ma'am, it is so huge. And now you yourself are answering these questions. So wonderful, wonderful answers given by Neeru, Manvi, Ritika, everybody. Preeti, Aisha, Mayan, everyone. Let's read the next questions. Yes, Nanda Goel, absolutely correct answer for the directors also. Radar Limited, a company incorporated having a turnover of 100 crores, net profit 3 crores, accumulated losses 50 crores, security premiums 300 crores as per the audited accounts of the company. CFO informed that the CSR is required to be constituted. The directors seek your advice as a professional, asking you to constitute CSR committee. Now, this is a little difficult, so I will explain you. I don't expect the answers from the audience. I will explain you this question. So here, children, you will be surprised to see, ma'am, we were supposed to see the turnover, paid up share capital, and net worth. What is this all given? Securities premium account, accumulated losses. How does this come up? So you have to go back to your chapter number 1 module. It reminds you about the definition of net worth. Net worth is the aggregate of the paid up share capital, all the reserves after deducting the aggregate profit and losses, deferred expenditures. So you have to calculate the net worth in this chapter, in this question. So applicability of CSR, first you'll write what is the provisions of the act, net worth of 500 crores, turnover of 1000 crore, net profit of this. Any year it shall constitute a CSR committee. How the net worth has to be calculated, this is the method of calculation. In the present case, they have given you the turnover of 100 crores, not meeting the requirement. Net profit of 3 crores, not meeting the requirement. Let us see how the net worth has been computed. Net worth they have computed by taking the net profit, security premiums, reducing the accumulated losses. Yes, Anil Ami, we have to do the adjustments of all these things to calculate the net worth. So net worth is 253 crore. Do we need to requirement? It is not fulfilling any of the criteria. Therefore, it is not required to constitute the CSR committee. Now, these are the assumptions that you can simply write that we have not considered the accumulated losses. We are assuming it is already part of it. Or the paid up share capital is not given. So we are assuming that the accumulated losses has been taken into consideration while computing the same. So these kind of exemptions, yes, can be given in the exam also. Finding it easy now? So there's another question in front of you. Mary Limited commits a listed company having a turnover of 1200 crores during the financial year 16-17. CSR was formulated and recommended a CSR project which was approved by the board. The company finalized, which requires a funds 5% of the average net profits of the last 3 financial years. Will such excess expenditure be counted in subsequent financial years as a part of CSR expenditure? Will excess expense be counted in the subsequent part? It will be carried forward for the 3 years. Very good. Very good. Wonderful answers. Let us quickly read the answers. So this is how you have to calculate at least 2% of the profits made in 3 previous years. Company spends excess, then excess amount will be set off and spent according to the immediately 3 previous years. And if it is still not has been spent, then the conditions have to be complied. Resolution will be passed. Okay. So straight away question can also come. Then you simply have to write this. So now I want to do one section 136 related question so that we have not left anything. So this is the question related to internal auditor. You can see the unlisted public company having a paid up share capital of 100 crores, 110 crore limits. So again, if you have remembered the limits very well, you can take a decision whether the internal auditor can be appointed or not. Simply they have given you the limits, and considering the present question, you have to answer that in this present question, they're having a turnover. This is the limit. What is the qualification of internal auditor? When we go to the chapter of auditor, you will do these things in detail over there. Section 137, we have one question. Let's do this. Government of India is holding filing in. Who is speaking in between? Students, can you hear me now? So this was your XBRL form related question related to section 137. So again, AOC XBRL form are the just type of the companies that they have given. You can learn these provisions. For the adjournment of the meeting, yes. Then one last question I want to ask you. If the company has not held its AGM, then within what is the criteria of filing the documents as per section 137 with the ROC? Definitely you will get all the PPTs, Nanda Goyal, not to worry about this. Everything will be updated and uploaded on the portal. Don't worry about that. What will be the date of filing with the ROC, children? Hurry up. 30 days from the AGM. Tambeshwari, all the PPTs related to prospectus preliminary has already been posted. You can refer to the same. Other PPTs, as and when the chapters will be completed, they will also get uploaded. Even the deposits and registration of charges is there, children. Please check it carefully. Yes, within 30 days from the date on which the AGM was to be held, Abhishek Mishra, Khushi, Preeti Kasak, Gurminder Kaur, Manvi, Pallavi Jha, all have given the correct answer, but you forgot to write one reason, which Dilip has written, presenting the reasons for not holding the AGM within that date. Very good. Very good. So with this, children, I think we have concluded accounts of companies. We have finished its completion of the chapter. We have tried to cover also the CSR important questions I have covered with you so that you get a fair idea how the calculations needs to be done. It will be more of your mathematical questions like in dividend and CSR, both are very mathematical calculative questions you're going to get. So it's very scoring. Don't leave the topic of CSR and dividend chapter. Isme se a question is must. No, beta, we are not supposed to share our email IDs. Whatever you want to address your issues, you can address it to me over here. Okay, Anil Army. And the students over there with us on the portal, I hope you have enjoyed the session and you have understood whatever we have done. Now, children, since this chapter is a little lengthy, so my humble request to all of you, relax, revise whatever we have done today. Accounts of companies, a fair reading. Try to give it 17th tomorrow, whole day you have when we meet before 18th. So on 18th, 6 a.m., 6 p.m., we're going to meet for audit and auditors, the new chapter. So you have full one day to revise accounts of companies. Slowly go through all the chapter. All those important in between things that how the CSR is implemented and other things we have not read that you can leave. Yeah. So, any doubt still you feel you had in this chapter, you can ask me in that session when we are meeting on 18. All right. Thank you, Neeru. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you have enjoyed the sessions and even I enjoy teaching all of you. Rathi Mirani says, no doubts, ma'am. I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you, Mahi. Thank you, Nanda Goel. Thank you so much, children. Tell me the scoring topics. So, Anil Armies, the scoring topics is that you have to do everything from the corporate and others laws. You should not leave any chapter. But if still, Anil Army, you feel that you're leaving any of the chapters, say, for example, interpretation of statutes or general clauses, if you try to leave any one of the chapter, then make sure that you have not left a single topic from other chapters. Okay? Because at times you feel that the choice question which you are trying to cover by leaving a topic, you might be knowing the other question very well. So it is just a risk game that you want to play with yourself, but then a thorough reading of each and everything has to be done. All right. Thank you, Pranav. Thank you, Ritika Gupta. Thank you, Ajit Surya. Thank you, Pallavi Jha. I'm glad, children, you enjoyed the session and I am being able to clear almost all your doubts. See you in the next lecture on 18th. How to memorize everything, Nanda Goyal. The only tip to memorize everything is to do as much as possible writing practice. Make notes, whatever we have discussed in CSR today. So before you sleep, the CSR note should be ready with you today. Because you remember in school days also, ma'am used to tell you, whenever you have studied, if you revise the same very day, it's very fresh in your mind. So if you'll obey me, if you'll listen to me, if you make CSR notes today itself, refer to this recorded lecture. It's going to be there for you on YouTube. So you can see my lecture and you can refer to the provisions that we have discussed and make your notes today only. You'll never forget CSR. Yes, you can appoint a professional as internal auditor, Hardik, because it is written as authorized by the board. So any other professional can also be appointed. Anil Army is asking, ma'am, everybody is saying to mug up. So yes, we do have to learn. There is no choice in that. But when we understand and we try to learn it, then things become very, very simpler for us. And you all have been answering very well. So don't get underconfident, children. You have been doing very well. You're performing excellent. We might be having certain more revision sessions also for all of you. So don't worry about that. All right, children, all the very best. So I can't see any more queries. It's just wonderful. Thank you, messages coming, which makes my day even more brighter. Thank you, children. Thank you so much. And I see you on 18th now. Sir, we are done with the session. All right. The students who joined with us on the portal also. Thank you so much, children. Yes, Hardik, if you don't have any doubts, you can leave the session. It's over now.